Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to do a deep dive on Social Bee.
Social Bee, all right?
Yeah, it's this platform that, well, they're marketing it as an AI-powered social media management platform.
Oh,
And, our listeners are always looking for new ways to, boost their social media presence. And from what I've seen just in these articles about Social Bee, it looks like it could be pretty promising for folks who are trying to, manage all their social media
right.
and keep track of everything.
Yeah, because, I mean, who hasn't felt like they're just drowning in social media,
Oh, yeah.
trying to keep up with it all?
It's impossible.
Yeah.
So Social Bee is saying that it can help us, generate our whole social media strategy
Oh, wow.
and schedule posts and, all kinds of stuff.
That sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah. So let's dive in and see what it's all about.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So first off, it looks like Social Bee connects to all the major platforms.
Okay.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, even TikTok and Pinterest. So it seems like, it's really trying to be that central hub for managing all your social media stuff.
Right.
You can create posts, schedule them, and, track how well they're doing.
Yeah, and that's really valuable to have all of that in one place, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Instead of having to, constantly switch between different apps and dashboards, you can just streamline everything through Social Bee,
Right.
which, less chance of missing notifications or letting engagement slip through the cracks.
Exactly. And they're really emphasizing the visuals, too.
Right.
They've got Canva, Unsplash, and GIPHY integrated right in the app.
Oh, wow.
So you can create all those, eye-catching graphics and stuff without even leaving Social Bee. I mean, is that really as seamless as it sounds?
Well, it certainly seems like they're trying to make it that way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about how much time you typically spend going back and forth between a design program
Oh, so much time.
and then your social media scheduler.
Yeah.
And if you're creating, several posts a week, those minutes can really add up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then there's this whole AI content generator thing
Ugh.
that they're talking about. It's got over 1,000 prompts to help you come up with ideas. And they even say it can take a blog post and turn it into social media snippets
Right.
and adjust the tone for different platforms.
Huh.
So it could write something in a really, fun and casual way for Twitter.
Right.
But then something more professional and, informative for LinkedIn.
So it's kind of like bridging the gap between long-form content and those bite-sized social media updates.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I was reading it too. It's
Right.
mind-blowing.
Right.
But how much can we really rely on AI,
Right.
to get our brand voice right?
Yeah, because that's a big concern. I mean,
Yeah.
can it really create content that genuinely connects with our audience?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the big question, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the technology is definitely advancing at an incredible pace. But I think it's still really important to remember that AI is a tool, It can help us by giving us ideas, refining our writing, or even automating some tasks.
Sure.
But human oversight is still absolutely crucial.
Absolutely.
We need to be the ones guiding the strategy
Yeah.
and making sure that the content aligns with our brand and resonates with our target audience.
Totally. It's all about finding the right balance, I guess,
Yeah,
between, human creativity and AI assistance.
exactly.
So speaking of assistance, let's talk about Social Bee's scheduling features.
Okay.
They're really emphasizing the ability to find the optimal times to post for each platform, which supposedly maximizes reach and engagement.
Right.
But how much of a difference can this type of scheduling really make?
Well, traditionally, we've relied on those general best practices for posting times.
Right.
But what Social Bee seems to be doing is leveraging AI to analyze your specific audience's activity patterns.
Okay.
So it takes into account things like when your followers are online, what type of content they engage with most,
Right.
and even their time zones.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
It is.
So it's not just about posting at 9 a.m. because, someone said that's a good time.
Right.
It's about actually understanding when your audience is most likely to see and interact with your content.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're also really big on the visual planning aspect with their calendar feature.
Okay.
So you can map out your entire social media content in advance
Wow.
and get a clear view of your posting schedule across all platforms.
Yeah.
Instead of juggling spreadsheets or trying to remember what you posted where.
Right. Exactly.
I can definitely see the appeal of that.
Yeah.
Especially for visual thinkers like me.
Mm-hmm.
And they even show you a preview of how your posts will look on different platforms before you schedule them,
Oh, that's nice.
which I guess helps ensure consistency across your social media presence.
Precisely.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's all about maintaining a cohesive brand identity across those different platforms, right?
Right.
Because, imagine posting this beautifully designed graphic on Instagram,
Yeah.
but then it looks completely out of place on Twitter because the aspect ratio is wrong.
Ah, yeah.
So these preview tools are really meant to prevent that kind of mismatch,
Right.
which, makes you look more professional and put together.
Yeah, totally. It's like having a little social media stylist built into the platform.
Exactly.
But, it's not just about pushing out content, right?
Right.
A big part of social media is actually engaging with your audience.
Mm-hmm.
So does Social Bee offer anything to help with that?
It does, yeah. They have features for managing comments, direct messages, and mentions,
Okay.
and they claim to pull all of those interactions from different platforms into a unified inbox.
So it's kind of streamlining all of that communication.
Exactly.
So you're not constantly jumping between apps to respond to messages or track conversations?
Right, because nobody wants to feel like they're playing whack-a-mole with notifications.
Oh, for sure.
So having everything in one place can be a huge time saver.
Right. And that consistent engagement is so crucial
Oh, absolutely.
for building relationships with your audience.
Yeah.
It's about moving beyond just broadcasting your message
Right.
and actually fostering a sense of community around your brand.
Exactly. It's like having a dedicated customer service desk, but for your social media.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So you can respond to questions, address concerns, and, participate in conversations in a timely manner.
Right.
But how do you actually know if all this effort is translating into results?
Well, that's where the analytics come in.
Okay.
And Social Bee has this dashboard
Mm-hmm.
that tracks all sorts of metrics,
Okay, like what?
like engagement rate, reach, follower growth,
Mm.
and even what content is performing best.
So it's giving you a bird's eye view of your whole social media landscape.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, so it's not just guessing what's working.
Right.
You can actually see the data. That's got to be helpful for, figuring out what to do next, right? But I'm curious, like, what kind of depth do these analytics provide? Is it just like surface level numbers, or can you really dig in and like understand your audience?
Yeah, well, from what I'm seeing, Social Bee is going beyond just those basic vanity metrics like follower count.
Okay.
It's looking at things like engagement rate,
Mm-hmm.
which tells you how actively people are interacting with your content.
Okay.
It also tracks reach, so you can see how many people your posts are actually getting in front of.
Right.
And it can even identify your top performing content,
Oh.
so you can see what's resonating most with your audience.
Okay, so that level of insight can be really valuable.
It is.
I mean, if you know that like videos get way more engagement than text posts,
Yeah.
that's going to change how you create content, right?
Absolutely.
But are these insights easy to understand? Or do you need to be like a data scientist to figure them out?
Well, it seems like they're presented in a way that's pretty visually clear and easy to understand,
Okay.
even if you're not a data whiz.
Right.
And they have different reports that break down the data in different ways.
Right.
So you can focus on the metrics that are most important to you.
Got it.
So whether you're trying to grow your following,
Mm-hmm.
drive traffic to your website, or boost engagement,
Right.
you can kind of customize the dashboard
Yeah.
to track your progress.
That's super helpful, especially for someone like me who gets like totally overwhelmed by numbers.
Yeah.
But okay, let's talk about real world results here.
Okay.
I'm seeing a lot of positive user testimonials.
Mm-hmm.
People are saying that Social Bee has helped them save time, increase engagement, and even grow their businesses.
That's great.
But, are these testimonials legit?
Right.
Or is this just, marketing hype?
Well, it's always good to be a little skeptical of those glowing testimonials.
Yeah, of course.
But in this case, there seems to be a pretty consistent pattern.
Ac-
Like users are highlighting specific benefits,
Mm-hmm.
like spending less time on social media management
Right.
while actually seeing a real increase in engagement and reach.
Okay.
A lot of them talk about how Social Bee has helped them streamline their workflow
Right.
and free up time to focus on other parts of their business.
That's a big deal.
It is.
I mean, if a tool can actually save you time and get you better results,
right.
that's like the dream, right?
Exactly. It's a win-win.
Yeah, for sure. But I guess it makes you wonder, are there any downsides to using a platform like this?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, one thing to think about is the cost.
Okay.
Social Bee has a few different pricing plans depending on your needs,
Mm-hmm.
but it's definitely an investment.
Right.
So you have to weigh that cost against the potential benefits
Yeah,
and figure out if it makes sense for your budget and your goals.
that's true. It's like any business decision.
Hmm.
You got to look at the return on investment.
Exactly.
But if those testimonials are accurate and people are really seeing those improvements, it might be worth it.
They might.
And it's not just a one-size-fits-all solution either.
Right.
They've got this other service called Concierge B,
Yeah.
which is their agency arm.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have the time or the expertise to handle your own social media,
Right.
you can outsource it to their team.
Like a done-for-you service.
Yeah, exactly. It's like having a built-in safety net.
Yeah.
You know, if you start using the platform and then realize you need more help,
Right.
you can just seamlessly transition to their managed service.
Exactly.
But I'm guessing that comes with a bigger price tag too, right?
It does, yeah. Managed services usually involve a higher investment,
Okay.
but you're also getting that team of experts
All right.
who are dedicated to creating and executing your strategy.
Okay, so it's kind of like trading time for expertise and peace of mind.
Exactly.
So it's all about choosing the level of involvement that's right for you.
Right.
You can be hands-on with the platform,
Yeah.
or you can, hand things off to the experts.
Delegate.
But regardless, I mean, there's still a learning curve involved, right?
Of course.
No matter how user-friendly a platform is,
Right.
it takes some time to get familiar with it.
Yeah, there's always an initial learning phase with any new software.
Yeah, for sure.
But it seems like Social Bee recognizes that,
Okay.
and they provide a lot of resources to help users get up to speed quickly.
Like what kind of stuff?
Well, they have webinars, tutorials, blog posts, even a whole university section on their website.
Oh, wow. So it's like they're anticipating the questions that people will have.
Right.
And providing the answers up front.
Exactly.
That's a good approach.
It is.
It definitely makes a difference in the user experience.
For sure.
But let's shift gears a little bit and talk about something that I think often gets overlooked in all the social media frenzy, the human element.
Right.
It's easy to get caught up in the metrics and the algorithms and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, social media is about connecting with people.
Absolutely.
It's about relationships, shared experiences, and, building a sense of community.
Exactly.
So how do we make sure that our social media efforts feel authentic and genuine, even when we're using platforms like Social Bee to help us manage things?
Well, I think it starts with being mindful of your brand voice and values.
Okay.
Don't let the tools dictate your message.
Right.
Use them to amplify your unique perspective
Yeah.
and connect with your audience in a way that feels real and authentic.
So even if you're using AI to generate content ideas, the final product still needs to sound like you.
Exactly.
Right. And it needs to resonate with your audience.
Yeah.
And it's a two-way street, right?
It is.
Don't just like blast out your message and then disappear.
Right.
Engage with your followers, respond to comments,
Yeah.
participate in conversations.
Exactly. Let people know that there's a real person behind the brand.
Yeah, because people can tell when you're just like going through the motions
Oh, absolutely.
versus actually trying to connect with them.
Totally.
But with so many platforms to manage and so much content to create,
Right.
it can be tough to keep up.
It is.
So how can Social Bee help with this?
Well, one way is through its content curation features.
Okay.
You can use Social Bee to find and share relevant content from other sources,
Oh, interesting.
which saves you time and effort.
So you don't have to create everything from scratch.
Right.
You can curate stuff that's already out there.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's like having a little research assistant
Yeah.
helping you find good content to share. And
Exactly.
that can help you position yourself as like a thought leader.
It can.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because you're providing value to your audience, not just trying to sell them something all the time.
Right. It builds trust and credibility.
Yeah, for sure. But with so much content out there,
Yeah.
how do you make your message stand out?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think it comes down to a few key things.
Okay.
High-quality visuals, compelling storytelling,
Okay.
and consistent engagement.
So it's not just about posting regularly, it's about posting strategically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need to grab people's attention,
Yeah.
create a connection,
Right.
and give them a reason to keep coming back.
And that's where Social Bee's AI features can really shine.
They can.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it can analyze your audience data
Mm-hmm.
and tell you what kind of content works best, when to post,
Exactly.
and even which platforms to focus on.
It's like having a personal social media strategist.
Yeah, but with all this talk about AI and automation, there's still a part of me that wonders,
Yeah,
can technology really replace the human touch?
that's a good question.
Yeah.
And I think it's one that we're all grappling with right now.
Yeah.
While AI can definitely enhance our social media efforts,
Hmm.
I don't think it can replicate those genuine connections
Yeah.
that come from human interaction.
So it's about finding that balance
It is.
where technology helps us be more efficient,
Mhm.
but we don't lose sight of the human element.
Exactly. We need to
Hmm.
use these tools strategically
Right.
to free up our time and energy
Yeah.
so we can focus on building those real relationships.
Exactly. So instead of spending hours like manually posting updates,
Yeah.
you can use Social Bee to schedule your content
Mhm.
and then use that extra time to respond to comments,
Yeah.
answer questions,
Right.
and, just be present and engage with your audience.
Exactly. It's about working smarter, not harder.
I like that. So it seems like the key takeaway here is
Yeah.
Social Bee can handle a lot of the behind the scenes stuff,
Mhm.
but it's still up to us to bring that human touch.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
But let's talk about another important aspect of social media marketing,
Okay.
analytics.
All right.
I know a lot of people are intimidated by data,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
but understanding those numbers is so important for making sure our strategies are actually working.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And Social Bee seems to do a good job of presenting those insights in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, so instead of just seeing a jumble of numbers,
Right.
you're getting information that can actually help you make decisions.
Exactly. You can see what's working, what's not,
Right.
and then adjust your approach based on that.
So it's like having a backstage pass to your social media.
Like a
You can see how people are reacting to your content,
right.
and then you can make changes based on what you're seeing.
Exactly.
But with all this data available,
Mhm.
it's easy to get caught up in those vanity metrics.
Oh, yeah, like follower count.
Yeah, exactly. So how do we stay focused on the things that really matter?
Well, I think it's important to start with clear goals.
Okay?
What are you trying to achieve with your social media?
Right.
Are you building brand awareness,
Mm.
driving traffic to your website,
Okay.
generating leads,
Right.
or something else entirely?
So once you know what you're aiming for, exactly.
You can choose the metrics that'll help you track your progress.
Right. So if your goal is to get people to your website,
Mm-hmm.
you would focus on click-through rates from your social media posts.
Okay.
And if you're trying to build a community,
Right.
you might prioritize engagement metrics like comments and shares.
So it's about aligning your metrics with your goals
Exactly.
so you can measure what actually matters.
Right.
And Social Bee seems to offer a pretty good range of metrics to track,
It does.
from basic stuff like follower growth
Mm-hmm.
to more in-depth things like engagement rate and reach.
Right. So you have a lot of options.
Yeah, it's like having a customizable dashboard
Yeah.
that shows you exactly what you need to know.
To make informed decisions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But speaking of, strategy and all that,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of debate these days about automation
Right.
in social media marketing.
Yeah.
Some people love it. Some people hate it.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's all about finding that balance.
Automation can be incredibly useful for those repetitive tasks,
Right.
like scheduling posts or curating content.
Sure.
But we can't forget that social media is all about human connection.
So we shouldn't just set it and forget it.
Exactly. We
Right.
still need to be present,
Right.
engage in conversations,
Mhm.
and show our audience that we're real people.
So think of automation as like a way to free up your time
Right.
so you can focus on those genuine interactions.
Exactly. It's about working smarter, not harder.
Okay, so instead of spending all your time like manually posting updates,
Right.
you can use Social Bee to handle that
Mhm.
and then use that extra time to respond to comments, answer questions,
Right.
and actually connect with your audience.
Exactly.
So it's about finding that sweet spot
Is
where technology helps us,
Mhm.
but it doesn't replace us.
Right.
And it seems like Social Bee offers a good mix of both.
It does, yeah.
So you can choose how involved you want to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. And, for instance, you might find that your Instagram posts get way more engagement in the evenings.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. But then your LinkedIn audience is more active during the workday.
Ah, okay.
So those kinds of insights can help you, tailor your posting strategy for each platform.
Right. So it's not just about posting the same thing everywhere at the same time.
Exactly.
It's about understanding the nuances of each platform.
Right. And when your audience is most likely to be there.
Okay. So it's like having this behind the scenes look
Yeah.
at how people are interacting with your content.
Exactly. You can see what's working,
Mhm.
what's not working,
Right.
and then adjust your approach accordingly.
That makes a lot of sense. But, with all this data,
Yeah.
it's easy to get obsessed with those vanity metrics.
Yeah, for sure. Like follower count.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who cares if you have 1 million followers if nobody's actually engaging with your content?
Exactly.
Yep.
So how do we stay focused on the metrics that actually matter?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
I think it comes down to having clear goals.
Okay.
Like, what are you actually trying to achieve with your social media? Are you trying to build brand awareness, drive traffic to your website,
Okay.
generate leads,
Right.
something else entirely?
So once you know what you're aiming for,
Right.
you can choose the metrics that'll help you track your progress.
Exactly. Like if your goal is to get people to your website,
Okay.
then you'd want to pay attention to click-through rates.
Right.
And if you're trying to build a community,
Mm-hmm.
then engagement metrics like comments and shares would be more important.
So it's all about aligning your metrics with your goals. So you can measure what actually matters.
Right.
And it seems like Social Bee gives you a pretty good range of metrics to choose from.
It does.
Yeah.
From the basic stuff like follower growth
Right.
to the more in-depth things like engagement rate and reach.
Okay. So you've got options.
You do?
It's like having a customizable dashboard.
Yeah.
That shows you exactly what you need to know.
To make informed decisions.
Exactly. Well, speaking of, making decisions and all that, there's this whole debate about automation
Yeah.
and social media marketing. Some people love it.
Right.
Some people hate it.
Yeah.
So where do you stand on all that?
Well, I think like with most things in life, it's about finding that balance.
Oh, okay.
Automation can be super helpful for those repetitive tasks.
Right.
Like scheduling posts or curating content.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, social media is about people connecting with people.
So we shouldn't just rely on robots to do everything for us.
Exactly.
Right.
We still need to be present, engage in conversations, and show our audience that there's a human behind the brand.
So think of automation as like a tool that frees up your time and energy. So you can focus on those real human interactions.
Right. So instead of spending hours manually posting updates, you can use Social Bee to handle that for you.
Okay.
And then use that extra time to respond to comments, answer questions, and just be more present with your audience.
So it's about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
I like that. So it seems like the main takeaway here is that Social Bee can definitely help streamline your social media efforts, but it's still up to you to make sure that human element is there.
Absolutely.
Right.
You can't just set it and forget it.
Exactly. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the specifics of Social Bee to the bigger picture of social media marketing.
Right.
But I think if there's one thing I want our listeners to take away from this, it's that social media is constantly changing.
It is.
What works today might not work tomorrow.
That's true.
So you have to stay flexible, adaptable, and open to new ideas.
And most importantly, never lose sight of that human connection. Behind all the data and algorithms and technology. Social media is really about connecting with people.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to encourage everyone to approach social media with a sense of curiosity, creativity, and a genuine desire to connect with others.
Well said.
And remember, there are tools like Social Bee out there that can help you along the way.
They can make things a little bit easier.
Exactly. So go out there, experiment, have fun, and see what you can achieve.
I love it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was fun.
And until next time, happy social mediaing.